We cannot continue to think, oh, because I work 9 to 5, I cannot be super rich. No, it has been proven that that's not correct. So, you advice to a woman in a childbearing phase that also wants to build a career. What did you do? What can she do? If I knew that that would give me an opportunity to save for the last time, I would have just turned back. You're going to learn something new about me today. This is not going to be the regular series that I normally have, where I come in to share something about finance or personal development or goal setting. This is entirely going to be different. I have had people over the past years ask me different questions, and I decided to put this episode together to say more about myself, and hopefully you can learn something new about me that would sort of give you an insight into how I've gotten to where I've gotten to, what I have done with my life, how I have overcome challenges over the years, how I continue to seek knowledge and share, because I honestly really like to share. And I want to call this a Get to Know Me series, where I will invite people in to talk about their life experiences, because I honestly believe there is a whole lot we can learn from each other. I started go-cutters, or let me put it this way, I scaled gold digger to go-cutters this year, and now we are about 270 people, and I have come to realize in the course of all the interactions we've had over the months that we all have unique experiences, things that set us apart from everyone else, and we've all sort of, through living our lives, made mistakes, learned something new. And I continue to say that we should not make mistakes that have been made in the past. We should not make mistakes that are common mistakes. We will make mistakes. I always like to say that, but let it be new mistakes. Let it be things people can also learn from. It's not mistakes where you come back and then say, you know what, I made this mistake, and somebody in your circle is telling you, oh, really? I also made the same mistake. That means you guys are not talking to each other. So I will be inviting people here where they can share their experiences, what is unique about their experiences, and what we can learn from them. So I decided to start the episode by sharing more about myself. And I reached out to a number of people to say, what would you like to know about me? People that ordinarily do not know me very well. And I've gotten some questions. I also shared this on Go Quotas, and I also got some questions from members of Go Quotas. And I will try to answer some of these questions today as honestly as I can. And I'm hoping that you will learn something from this session. Okay. So I have here all the questions. I honestly would like to sort them so that I address it one after the other. But let me just get right into it. I think what I should say is what everybody probably know about me is I like talking about career development. I like talking about personal development. I love to read. I read a lot of books, and I like to apply all the things that I am learning or what I am reading. Let's get right into it. Anything from your childhood that has influenced you to date? I think going to a military school has sort of shaped my life. I went to Command Secondary School in Ikpaja. It was a boarding school, and I continue to give it credit for my level of discipline. I know those from my secondary school, if they listen to this, they would agree with me that it was a regimented lifestyle. We were basically following laid down rules, regulations, and timings. And there was a set time to wake up, set time to dress up. We do not walk. We jog from one place to another. So you're moving from the library, for example, to your classroom. You are jogging. You are jogging. Like, when you're supposed to be at the dining, you're at the dining. When you're supposed to be in the dormitory, you're in the dormitory. When it's light out, you're supposed to be on your bed. It was a regimental lifestyle. I think it built my independence. That is the first one. And I think also that it helps me with my level of discipline. And my definition of discipline is doing what needs to be done, whether or not it is convenient. And for me, that has driven most of the things that I do in life. If something needs to be done, it has to be done now, and it has to be done well. I think my secondary school sort of instilled that in me, and I haven't lost that part of me because I can tell that it is helping me in life generally. I would also say what has influenced my life now is what has also influenced my life now is being the first girl. I think that nurturing spirit that I have started from there, aside the fact that, women generally are more nurturing, I think being also the first girl, I sort of saw myself as the minimum, coordinating things in the house, and ensuring that everybody is fine in a way, So those things have influenced me, and I continue to show these attributes in my life currently. And I hope I answered that question well for the person that asked this one. Those are the two key things that continue to come to my head, being the first girl and being brought up in a large family, being the first girl, and also my secondary school, the military secondary school sort of has a role to play in the way I do things to date. What would you tell your younger self? What would I tell my younger self? I think if I meet my younger self today, there are a lot of things I would tell her. Things that I know that at that time she didn't know. And if she had known, she probably would have taken, different decisions. She would probably have taken different routes to resolving things. So the first one is going to be something I would also tell my adult self, which is be patient. Good things take time. And sometimes, and I would also connect this to the first question, which is that military lifestyle that I grew up with. I think it has also contributed in a negative way to my lack of patience. If I want to do something, I want to do it now. If I think of something, I want to do it now. I want to just execute it. If I'm going to fail at it, let me just fail at it and then move to the next thing. It has also not helped me in the areas where I need to develop. So for example, I used to say that I may not be, okay, I'll give you an example. In a company where I worked, I'm not going to call names of companies there. In a company where I worked, I had a direct report. And we had our one-on-one, and one of the things we talked about was one of the questions I asked him was, what do you think I can improve on? What do you think that, I don't do well enough and you need me to work on? And then he said, I think Debola can be more patient. Debola can sometimes not be patient. I thought, wow. That feedback for me was recognizable. I have always never been patient. And you say, it's okay if I'm not patient to do my own things, but I have to cut people some slack because I know not everybody would move at the same frequency as me. And it doesn't mean they are slow. It probably means I am too fast. And sometimes that doesn't even define the results that you get, So I think if I would meet with my younger self, I would say be patient, and I would say the same things to my adult self, because this is something I have reflected on over time, and I say that it has its advantages and it also has disadvantages. Yeah. Is there something else I would like to tell my younger self? Let me say, I sort of put some talking points here. Okay, maybe I'll tell my younger self to take more risks. I think I used to be very risk averse. And, when I was a lot younger, I could have gotten into the stock market quite early. But I think I was always very protective of my earnings, and I would rather save. If I were going to tell my younger self, which is something I'm also telling my kids, expose yourself to some risk, because it has been noted that most times the higher the risks, the higher the returns. So I would say, go to a place that scares you, do things that scare you, just put yourself out there. And it doesn't matter what people think. And it doesn't matter whether you win at it or you fail at it. The main thing is that you're experiencing new learnings and you're experiencing new things and you're probably building memories. I think that's something I did not do well when I was growing up. I'm getting better at it now, but I think that's one thing I would tell my younger self, to take more risks and leave, just leave. Okay, there is one question here. If you could change one thing in your career journey, what would it be? When I saw this question, I said, nothing. To be honest with you, I think everything that has happened in the past 16 years, is it 16? 2008? 2008 to now should be, 16 years. Everything that has happened has prepared me for this moment in my life, for this moment in my career, for this moment in my life. So I do not regret anything. I wouldn't change anything. Even the bosses that I had that were not fantastic, the jobs that I had that were not fantastic, everything, put together has helped me to get to where I am now. And one thing I tell people all the time is that you cannot run away from building experiences. It may not be good experiences, but you will learn from it. And there is a quote from Steve Jobs that says you cannot connect the dot, forward. You can only connect the dot backwards. And this basically means that in hindsight, you would appreciate some of those things you've gone through, some of those experiences you've had. But when you're experiencing it, you're not liking it, but at the end of the day, it would make sense to your career story, basically. So there's nothing I would change. I think I've worked with some fantastic people, really fantastic people. I've worked with fantastic organizations. I have learned a lot, and I continue to say that I've had the most beautiful career that one can ever wish for. I've met really, really amazing people in the course of my career. So I wouldn't change anything, to be honest. I just let it run by itself, I continue to let it run by itself. Anyways, I got a question, and this question is from someone on Gold Quarters. She said, what's your candid advice to a woman in a childbearing phase that also wants to build a career? What did you do? What can she do? I'll combine this with another question I got, which is, how have you successfully balanced parenting and career? Oops. Before now, I probably would say, I don't even know if I'm doing a good job. But I've come to realize that I have done a good job. I have done a good job. And how do I assess? Because again, we have to have a yardstick to define whether things are moving in the direction that we want or not. I think I look at my kids now and I'm like, thank you, Lord, because I was almost missing it at some point. When I started my career, and I think I've shared this story a couple of times, when I started my career, it was for me my career. It was my career first. Even though I didn't come out to say it like that, even though I didn't realize it at that time, but I just knew that my career was important to me and nothing was going to come in between me and my career. Nothing was going to come in between me and my career. But I have come to now realize that life or career without, relationships, without our close families, without that joy that comes from knowing that the people around you are happy. Career without all those things means nothing. I almost lost my way focusing only on career, but I think I was quick to return back to base to say, come on, where do I get to? Where does all this end? This is like when you're in a roller coaster and it keeps moving, you will never have time to say, you know what, I need to attend to some other things. And by the time you say, I am ready to attend to family or friends or people that are important to me, they are already used to living without you. And then you are struggling to fit right back in. So how did I manage? I had support system. How did I manage my own process? When I started, I had support system. My mom was always with me. Well, not always, but most time was with me, helping out with the kids and all that. And my husband is also very supportive, and those things, looking back, really helped with raising my children. And I was also making sure that I cover it up. So when I'm not around, I understand I'm not around, I still make sure that they are well taken care of. And when I am around, I make it worth it. So what I would say is to this person asking this question, try as much as possible to consciously dedicate time to family. If you can outsource some things, please do. I know some of those house chores can be like, crazy widgets. I don't know what to call them. Just try to outsource as much as possible. And also try to get help if you can. If you can get a steward that can maybe even come in once a week to do the cleaning, as much as possible outsource, and as much as possible be present, in the lives of your kids. When you're at home, try to see what do they like, what don't they like. I think I said it in one of my past podcasts that at some point I didn't even know what my kids like. Sometimes when I make food and one of them just sort of plays with the food and not eat it, I'll be like, why are you not eating blah, blah, blah? And then my mom will go, he doesn't like it. He doesn't take bread and jam, or he doesn't take bread and butter. So I started missing out on those little things. I didn't know what they didn't like. But by the time I settled back home to say when I am at home, I am at home and I am in charge, I started noticing mannerisms, like you're talking to one and then he slams the door and I'm like, me. 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 And then I'll be like, And then I started correcting all those things. There was a time one used to bite his fingernails and I'm like, So all this are happening. So I start paying attention. Anytime I'm at home, I make sure that I am at home and I am paying attention and I'm correcting, and I am doing all the things that I need to do. So I sort of covered it up later on. But what I would say is that don't get into that space where, it is all about the job at the beginning. Just try to create that balance. I know people say, work-life balance don't exist and all those things, but you can create some sort of balance so that when you're at work, you're at work. When you're at home, you're at home. That's what I would say. So the next question, what self-care practices do you find most effective in nurturing both your physical and mental well-being? Before now, I probably would say nothing. I probably would have said, I don't have any self-care practices. And that's also because, like I said, it was like I was in this roller coaster and just spinning, everywhere. But I can speak on this now and say that I focus largely on that key triangle, which says nutrition, fitness, and sleep. I am very conscious of these three things. Those are my self-care practices. I try to sleep early, even though this past few days haven't been easy, but I try to sleep early. I try to eat well, and I also try as much as possible to work out. I do minimum 4 times in a week. Sometimes I do 3, depending on how the day has been, but minimum that I set for myself is 4. Sometimes I meet 3. Sometimes it's 5 for the 5 days that my gym opens. It opens on Saturday as well, but I don't go on Saturdays. The gym is always very full on Saturdays. What I want to try to start doing is probably taking a walk, because that also helps. And you see, when I am at the gym by myself, just working out, listening to a podcast or listening to music or whatever it is, I just feel I'm in my best elements. Like, this is my me time. Nobody's saying mommy, nobody's saying wife. It is just my me time. That's what I consider, at least for me. That's what I consider self-care. Another question I have here is, if there is one area of life you would like to improve on, which area would this be? I think I already talked about my not being patient and not being patient to learn how to be patient. That. And then I would say, if I look at it in that 360-degree consciousness of health, health and wellness, finance, personal development, and spirituality, career. If there is one area I would need to improve on, I need to really improve on my finance. And when I say that, it is about growing, my earning capability, and then growing the money that I have. That continues to be an area where I think I can improve on. And I'm learning so much. I have made some smart moves, but I know there are better moves also that I can make. So that area is where I'm looking. Because you see, we cannot continue to think, because I work 9 to 5, I cannot be super rich. No, it has been proven that that's not correct. So you can't be as rich as you want to be. You just need to have the right financial discipline, and you have to have the right amount of information that would help you make good financial decisions. There's a question here, and I thought about this question deeply before coming to shoot this video. This is one regret you would hate to have at the end of life. And I'm sort of adding this to a question that also came. I think this one also is from Go-Kotas. Do you think you have any regrets as of date? Perhaps a business you shouldn't have ventured into, a job role you shouldn't have taken, an advice you overlooked, anything. I think what keeps coming to mind, and I'll give you that gist, what keeps coming to mind was something that happened in 2016. I was on Third Mainland Bridge. I was going to get PTA, that's personal travel allowance. We were supposed to go on holiday. So I was driving. For some reason, I don't know why I was driving, but I was driving. And I got a call from my younger brother, and he said, that he was working on a project for me at that time. He was helping me develop my personal branding. It was like a total package. He would work on my website, do personal branding for me and all that work, all those beautiful stuff. So I was driving and I got a call from him. It must be early September. And he said, that I was thinking that we would see today. I said, you didn't tell me. I'm on my way to Ireland, Victoria Island, that I wanted to get PTA. He knows that we were traveling. But I didn't tell him I was going. He said, that he would have loved to see me so that we can discuss where he has gotten to and all that. I said, no worries, that I'm not sure I would be able to see you today. And I think we were traveling the following day. But I said we'll catch up later. Anyways, I didn't go. When we came back like a week after. I didn't get to see him. I remember also buying him Ferrero Rocher because that's his favorite chocolate, the white one. I bought it for him. I think I had someone go deliver it to him or something. Anyways, to cut a long story short, I got a call. I was in the office on the 16th of September, and I got a call that he passed on. And I keep asking myself, why didn't I just turn back that day? Why didn't I turn back? Nothing else matters. Nothing else. If I knew that would give me an opportunity to see him for the last time, I would have just turned back. And before coming to shoot this video now, I listened to a conversation we had before then. It was a strategy session. It was an hour session. I remember when I got to his office that day, he said, we started the conversation, and then he said, I would like to record the session so that I can go back to it and remind myself of all those things that you say you want and all that. I said, it's fine. Can I also record? He said, yes, and I recorded. And, before coming here to shoot this particular video, I played that 1 hour video. I still have it. Audio notes. And it depressed me. Oh no, it depressed me. My window is opened. That is why you see my eyes always moving there. It depressed me because I kept on saying, What a sweet boy. What a sweet boy. That's about the only regret I have. That's about the only regret, that I just should have gone to see him one last time. Just to see him one last time. Anyways, I think what that taught me is to make every moment count, tell those around us that we love them. Tell those around us that we love them. Continue to, show love, voice it, let them know that they are loved, and let's not waste any more time. I remember someone told me at a point that I was rushing life. You're doing this. Why are you in a hurry? Why? Sorry, you're doing this. Why are you in a hurry? And I'm really not in a hurry. I just want to do what needs to be done, because I don't want to have regrets. That one I couldn't control, but that's about the only regret I have. Every other thing, I just sort of move on, and that's it. Anyways, one regret it's to have that I don't spend enough time with my loved ones, that I don't tell them how much I love them, that I don't be the best wife, be the best mother, be the best friend, best child, best aunt to those around me. I really, really would regret not being an awesome person to those that I know, in my heart of hearts, that love me. That's one regret, that I am not available for those that love me. That would be a regret. If you were to sum up your journey in life so far in 3 words, what will it be? I thought about this too. And to be honest, I would say grace. And I would explain. I would say growth. And I would say gratitude. Grace, because my journey in life hasn't been smooth, really. My growing up, my childhood, it hasn't been smooth. I know that people that went through similar situations don't end up like this. They don't. Many people have been scarred in life, but how we treat that scar, how we respond to that scar, defines us. So I would say, and I would also say, it's not by our power, it's not by I'm tough, I'm that. I think it's just God's grace. And that's why sometimes when I pray for grace, I don't know when I would need it, but I just pray for a lot of grace, because I know life is full of challenges and we really need this grace to move on sometimes. So when we are praying, we should continue consciously, mindfully, ask for a lot of grace. And I said growth because I love growth. I love growth. I just like to see, and it doesn't even matter how infinitesimal it is, so long as there is growth and growth can be recorded. I love it. Not just in myself, in people around me, in processes, in anything. So long as there is an improvement, it gives me a lot of joy. And that's why I always advocate that we continue to nurture ourselves, we continue to invest in ourselves so that we see that growth. Because that growth, no matter how tiny, gives us evidence that we can do more and we can see more growth. Consistent growth over a long period of time brings about magic. So I really do like growth. And if you ask me, over the course of my years, I think being grateful, and that takes me to the third one, gratitude. Being grateful for even the tiniest growth matters to me. I remember, so I have a son who is a special needs, and I remember that at some point I would compare him with his twin brother, and I just realized that was robbing me of, it was robbing me of peace. It was robbing me of things that I should naturally be excited about. But when I started focusing on the little improvement, like when he wasn't calling mommy, and then he started calling mommy, when he couldn't eat by himself, and then he could eat by himself, when he couldn't do things by himself, and now he's doing things by himself. When I started recording all those small growth, I started feeling more happy. I started feeling more joyful. I started experiencing happiness on a different level. So that's why I said grace, growth, and gratitude. If there are 3 words that would define who I am, define my journey in life, it would be those 3 words: grace, growth, and gratitude. So somebody asked, when and how did you discover your Ikigai? I always joke that my last son, who is 9, brought about my purpose in life. I've always been everywhere doing everything. At some point I was learning how to sew, I was learning photography, I was just everywhere at some point. But at a later point, I think that must have been 2015, I started thinking there has to be more to me. And I think it was at that time I could articulate what my Ikigai was. Ikigai is basically the intersection between what you love, what people can pay you for, what the world needs, and what you're good at. So I realized that helping other people grow, helping other people succeed is what I really love to do. And I have over the years done it for a lot of people without getting paid. Like, you just have a bit of challenge and you're already thinking, which way should I go? I cannot find clarity. I don't know where to put all my energy. Talk to me and I will be able to guide you. And if you are also ready to put in the work, you would see growth. I realize this is something that I love to do. I realize it is something I am good at. And I realize I can't start charging people for it. Like, I can make money from it because the world needs it. So I would say in 2015, I just figured out that, helping other people grow, translating their ideas, translating what they desire, translating, whatever it is that they want, translating it into results is what I like to do. You would ask me, how am I packaging this, to offer to the world for payment? So this cuts across many things that I am doing. For example, this community I am running. It's also in the books that I am selling, the books I'm writing, the books I'm selling. But I also want to do more. I want to do more. And I always say this is my season, so expect a lot from me. All right. So the last question, because I don't want this video to then run into 1 hour. What are the 3 major principles that have guided your life choices and decisions? The principles you knew with or without the opportunities you've had and the challenges you've had, the principles would have still guided you. I don't even think deep for this one. There are things that I hold or values that I hold very key. I think the first one is integrity. The second one is authenticity. And the third one I put here is excellence. I'll start from the last one, excellence. I always say that whatever has my name to it has to be done well. So long as you have put my name there to say Debolao, it has to be done well. If you don't want it to be done well, don't invite me into it. But if you want it to be done well, bring me on board. And this I'm also teaching my kids, because my boss at a time would say, why is it that I walked past this place and I see 1, 2, 3 things that can be fixed, and somebody else walks past that place and they don't see it? Why is it that I come here and I am picking this needs to be changed, and people have been working here or people have been operating here and they don't see it? You see, anytime you ask that question, I'm always thinking in my head, it's right. It's right. Why does he see all these things and we don't see it? It's in our mindset. Some things we are built in a way that, some things are just normal. We have normalized nonsense. When you normalize, you're seeing something that is wrong, but it just feels normal. So I am telling my kids, Mommy is not going to fix everything. If you walk past something, whether you did it or not, fix it. That's how to build excellence mindset. You have to not get comfortable with things not being done right. You have to just not feel okay with things being suboptimal. That's the only way I feel I can continue to call them to, action, to say you have to do this well. And you know what they say about excellence? It is not doing it 1 time, 2 times. It's not an act. It is a habit. You have to, work on that muscle and continue to work on it and continue to work on it. And then you will never get used to, or you will never be okay with suboptimal performance. That's on excellence. Then on authenticity, I don't do gray. And I say it all the time. It is difficult to do gray. I am either black or I am white. And I think I owe it to people. I would be kind, I would be kind. I'll be very kind. If something is not nice and you ask me, is it nice? I can say, I can be nice in delivering the response. But if it is not nice, I wouldn't say it's nice. I can tell you, maybe I'm sure this person will find it, very nice. I would be diplomatic about it, just so that I am nice, but I would never say, oh, brilliant, wonderful, when I know it's not. So you would always know where I stand. And I think we need that in this world. We need more authenticity. We need more originality. We need more of ourselves, being comfortable in ourselves. We need it. And then I said integrity. I think my father would always say, and I think, let me see if I can translate this Yoruba. Orúkọ rere ó sàn ju wúrà àti fàdákà lọ. Orúkọ rere, a good name is better than gold and silver. So that's, for me, is integrity. You have to be a person of honor, and you have to be a person of, candor, a person that can be trusted, a person that somebody will look to say, if she's involved in this, it has to be good. If she's involved in it, if she's saying it, it has to be good. If she's saying it, it has to be true. So I hope I have answered all the questions I have here. And I hope that there is something in all this that you can pick. I know there are other things I would like to talk about, but because I haven't been asked, I don't want to say it. I feel like a chicken saying that. Okay. Not because I've not been, but you cannot get a view of someone's life in one video, but at least you would get a feel. You would have an idea. You won't get everything, but you'll get something. And I think the idea behind this series is I want to also take a trip into someone's life and see how this person has, or what has influenced this person to become who this person is. What mistakes have been made in the past? Oh no, I have made mistakes too. I have really made some mistakes in my life, But again, like I said, those things are learnings, lessons for us to continue to move forward in life and continue to make sense out of life. So I will be bringing in people from, I don't know if it is next week or, I'm trying to create like a calendar. And if you are interested in sharing your story, because again, I know people want to share, they want to share their experiences, please feel free to send me a message. I will be very happy to have you come in and tell us about, how your childhood experiences have influenced you, what you've learned in career, in motherhood, what you've learned in your own personal space, just developing in marriage, whatever it is. What do you think we can learn from you so that we can better navigate life and make the most of our lives and live a life of impact, a life that we continue to be proud of? This is a long one, but I really enjoyed shooting this video, and I really look forward to the next episode on Get to Know Me series. And until next time, And before you go, please don't forget to subscribe. Yep, subscribe. Yeah. And click on that notification bell so that you will always be the first to know when a new video is up. And please give this video a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm. I'm learning this YouTube thing. It helps the algorithm. Thank you very much.